Delighted to be joined by Lisa Marley, TV presenter, leading food blogger, owner and online host of Cocoa Box. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Now, you've been a presenter for many years. How did you get into this?
Well, originally I wanted to be an actress, and I just wasn't getting the work. So I thought, right, if I raise my profile by becoming a presenter, the acting work will come through. Because I was just going to audition. It was really disheartening. It was really depressing. So I did. There wasn't many ways to get yourself a show reel back then. But what I did, there was this one course, luckily in London. It was a day course where you did vox pops, and you got a show reel at the end of it. So I did the day's course, got my VHS video. That shows how long it was, and long ago it was. And then I sent it off to Sit Up TV, which at that time did a channel called Bid Up. And a week later they called. I went in, had a chat with the manager, and got the job. So literally from getting my show reel to 7 or 8 days later, I had a job. So I was like, okay, well this isn't like acting. This is seems quite easy.
And then from there, you went in the shopping TV route. From there, you went over then to ITV, didn't you? And did some stuff with the channels that they had running.
I was at Price Drop for a good 3 years, and it was a fantastic training. It still had a little bit of a stigma, the whole shopping telly presenter, but actually you're doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of live telly. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong, and you have to think on your feet, and you have to talk for hours. So it's the perfect training. So when you do something like pre-recorded, say a 10-minute show or a half-hour show that's pre-recorded, that's so easy, because you're just like, this is nothing compared to what I've been doing. So anyway, I did 3 years full-time on that channel, and I had enough. I was like, I'm done. So I didn't have a job to go to. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I was like, that's it, I'm leaving. So I left, and luckily, again, within a week, I'd got another 3 channels. I had a sports channel. I was doing the sports news, and then I did a game show called Big Game TV, and then just lots of other little jobbing. There's other channels. That's a show called Avigo, which isn't around anymore.
That was a great show, wasn't it? Sarita used to work on there as well.
Yeah, it was great.
It was like really bingo.
It was. I used to watch it when I wasn't working. I was like, oh, that machine looks so good. I really want to get that ball and read it out, because it just looks so much fun. And actually, it was really fun. Lovely people, and you find that every job you go to, and every job, no matter how big, whether it's a day shoot or 3 years, you meet people, and they actually help you get your next job. I'm just going to switch you back.
So you think that's primarily how you got your the gigs, through word of mouth and speaking to people, rather than getting an agent or calling up the company themselves?
Well, I've worked solidly, or I did work solidly, purely doing television for, say, 15 years. And then I started my company and started doing work, presenting work, but only focusing on food. And then I got an agent. So the whole time I was a jobbing presenter, I never personally had an agent. I don't know whether that was, I know some people that did. My friend Georgina Burnett, who now does property presenting in the BBC weather, she always had an agent. But I remember thinking, it's a lot of money you have to pay your agent, and we're doing the same jobs. But it is a kudos to have an agent, and I think if you are serious and want to springboard to, actually, do you know what? I think nowadays you don't need an agent as much. I don't know. That's a debate. But I never did have one. Yeah.
When did you decide that you were going to actually combine your sort of like love of food, because you've got a food background as well,
yes,
with presenting?
Again, I was working at this channel, Big Game TV, which is my name was Lisa Hanlon back then, so it was called the Lisa Hanlon Show, and I had my own little quiz show. But I was really fed up with it. I've been doing it a couple of years. I just was at the end of my tether with it. So it's a bit of a theme here. So I was like, I love presenting. I just wasn't really into the late night. This is quite a late night show. And I love food. And then I thought, well, I think to have longevity in this industry, you have to be an expert. In my head, that's what I thought, you know. But to be honest, it actually came naturally. I didn't start up the Cocoa Box thinking predominantly I want to be a presenter still. In my head, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get presenting work again. And it's something I loved, but I was ready to let that go. It just so happened that there's a lot of work if you are trained as a chef, which I am. And I've been very lucky that I've been approached by massive companies like Tesco to do their recipes and filming. So it was a bit of luck and a bit of hard work, I guess.
So just a quick, for people just watching this, a quick overview of what Cocoa Box actually is.
Well, Cocoa Box is an events company, so we put on hen parties, corporate events, team building, but the theme is always chocolate or cake. So you'll do a chocolate making workshop where you'll make your own chocolates whilst drinking chocolate martinis, or you'll do a cocktails and cupcakes party where you'll decorate cupcakes, do sugar craft, and drink loads of cocktails. The running theme is alcohol and sugar, but it's like a really nice thing to do.
Sounds great.
So that's the main crux of the Cocoa Box, but because of that I've been able to do other things like recipe developing and do a whole other career in presenting and writing, all based around food, because I've got the Cocoa Box to kind of validate me, if you like.
How do you think it's actually raised your profile as a presenter?
Oh, well, to be honest, yeah, I mean
obviously working with people like Tesco.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, Topshop, Tesco, Farfetch. I mean, just really John Lewis, just Waitrose. I mean, it's just been. Sometimes I just look back and think, I can't believe it. Really, the opportunities I've had. I mean, I'm not Nigella, don't get me wrong, but I've just had really great experiences. And I think it's definitely given me I was able to train because it's expensive to train as a pastry chef and a chef. So it gave me the opportunity to train. And also, as I said, it ultimately gives me the validation and the authority because the Cocoa Box is so solid. And also because we worked with, originally we worked with lastminute.com. As soon as we launched with them. And we ran an offer and we were their biggest selling experience on their website. So that kind of put us straight out there to thousands and thousands and thousands of people when we couldn't pay for that kind of advertising, that kind of marketing. I mean, marketing's really expensive. I know someone that pays £1,000 a month just for PR, and we've just never done that because we're tight, I think. No, just because it's just so expensive, and luckily we haven't had to do that. I'm not ruling it out though, because I think having a PR would be great. I think.
You do use social media a lot to promote your services, and
I think social media and networking online and online content is. My friend in Australia who does food recipes for food and restaurants, films recipes rather. He just says content is king. Content is king. You've got to get it out there. You've got to really be consistent. And you've got to. I think it's a real commitment online. That's why people pay to have people do it for them. Like it's a big business. I luckily enjoy it, so I don't mind doing it. I will go on Instagram every day. I will tweet every day. I will go on Facebook. I will make sure, we're constant, or I'm liking other people's things, commenting. I mean, it's really important, and it's only going to get more so.
You've been running a blog for quite some time now, haven't you?
Yeah, I pretty much started it when we launched, because I knew how important it was. I knew how powerful bloggers are. I mean, the amount of events I've been to where we've hosted, we've been like the things that they do for fun, but they've put on for bloggers. So the bloggers would come and have a cocktail and cupcakes event paid for by someone like Farfetch, which is a big fashion company, or I was speaking to you earlier about I went to an event at the Ivy, and that was a blogging event, so it was all bloggers, and we had lunch and drinks and got samples of beautiful products purely because we have blogs.
So do you build up most of your subscribers for your channel through your blog and through social media, or is this coming from your exposure with the big brands like Tesco and Topshop, etc.?
Well, to be honest, I tell you what, I wasn't into, I didn't take on vlogging, I think as they call it, blogging online or recipes or filming online as seriously as I should have done. I was quite slow on the uptake. I was all over Twitter, all over Instagram, but it was only because I was being approached by these companies. And I've just done a big campaign with Britannia Living where we filmed 12 recipes, which they release on their YouTube channel. And because I've been filming stuff for other people's YouTube channels, then I put it out on ours as well. Then I was like, okay, we need to really up our game. It's difficult, as in equipment, you've got to be able to edit and film it. Yes, you can do it nowadays on your phone or on your iPad, but I always think sound-wise and looks-wise, it's nice to it have a nice quality to it. However, I wouldn't let that stop me. If you're new to it, I would start with your iPhone or your tablet and start, build slowly, because no one started with massively expensive equipment. No one. Well, maybe a few. I don't know them.
So now you've got you've got thousands of fans. How do you actually retain all your subscribers? Do you have to keep on this? Is it like you've unleashed the monster? Do you have to keep giving them information?
Instagram, for example, I didn't post anything for a while. I didn't lose any followers, but I didn't gain any. So the past couple of days I've been specifically focusing on Instagram. And especially now you can do little clips on Instagram as well. And within a day I've got an extra 30 followers. Whether they stay, I don't know. But all I do know is it's really important. If you want to write a book, if you want your own TV show paid for, then you have to have, I would say it's imperative to start getting your following up. I know that especially for my friend's an author, and she is always aware of how many people are following her, and it's just the way it is. It really is the way it is. The beauty of it, though, is if you haven't got an agent, you haven't got a producer, you haven't got a big budget, you can still do whatever you want to do. If you want to do a travel show, you take your camera and you travel, you film and edit it yourself. It'll either get picked up or it won't, but at least every time you'll get better. It's just starting, isn't it? That's, I would say, just get out.
We're at the start of all this at the moment. It's going to be very exciting. I noticed actually some of the larger agents, particularly in London, are concentrating and focusing their efforts on getting online talent now. So vloggers and bloggers and experts on their books, rather than trying to get the the celebrities. They've got those on the books in the background, but it's all now focused towards the online expert. Which brings me on to the next question. Why do you think it's important for presenters, or do you think it's important for presenters these days to have another skill? So back in the day, a presenter would generally come from drama school, or they would be a journalist or whatever, and they would be an entertainment host. They'd be able to work with multi-camera environments, talk back, auto cue, and all those sort of things. Now, do you think it's more important for that person to be an expert rather than an expert in working with multi-cameras and all that sort of stuff?
I think, personally, I do think that having those skills like talk back and being comfortable in a studio and being able to ad-lib are really, really important. However, you can learn them on the job, and if they like you, they will take the time and teach you that. So I think, yes, unless you're extremely lucky, like say a Holly Willoughby, I always want to call her
Holly Willoughby.
You know what I mean, her. but they're one in a thousand. So she's got regular work, but I think if you have a skill and you stick to it and you become an expert in your field, then you will more than likely have more jobs offered to you, I think. And especially if you're getting older. I think in your 20s, it's easier to pick up random work, as a jobbing presenter. I think in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you have to be an expert. I mean, look at Mary Berry. Mary Berry, obviously I'm going to go for the food people, but she's in her 80s and she's top of her game. She's another example, though. She's an exception rather than the rule, but still, I think it's very inspiring. Because if she wasn't, there's not that many 80-year-old women presenters out there that aren't with a skill. You just in fact, it doesn't happen, does it? I got approached by, I call her my non-agent because I'm not on her books, but she always puts me forward for stuff, Julia Champion, and she's a lovely woman. Because food is it's quite, I'm not a celebrity, as in I'm not famous, so she has famous people on her books. Anyway, so she puts me forward for stuff, and I got approached by it's called Scripts Network, and they do loads of stuff in America. I mean, they are huge, and all she wanted was people that were video blogging. So it was all about blogs and blogging, and that was like, all right. So you definitely need to up your game.
So where now for yourself and for Cocoa Box? What do you think your plans are for the future, particularly on the presenting side?
I've always wanted to do a travel show. I've always wanted to do like a Rick Stein. He's like my idol. His travelling shows are just. I think my life would be complete if I even had half of his kind of shows.
Do you mean like a travel foodie sort of show?
Yeah, eat my way around the world. So it's difficult because I think like my husband and I, who runs the company with me, Nathan, he can film. We've got the equipment, so we could technically go out there, film it, upload it. But it's just, you've got to take the time off, you've got to arrange it, blah, blah, blah. But that would be my ultimate goal. So presenting wise, also I'm totally up for doing more work collaborations. They're my favourite thing to do. When someone like Dr. Erka approached me, Dr. Erka do lots of like butter frostings, and they do even do pizzas, but they're a very cake orientated company. Anyway, they approached me they were launching a new chocolate, and I had to develop 4 new recipes and film them for the launch of the chocolate. So that kind of stuff, like that makes me so excited. I live for those phone calls and those emails. It's the most exciting thing. It never gets boring. So more of that.
And then you do the live shows as well, don't you? At the big main sort of like trade fairs here in the UK, like the Ideal Home.
Yeah, that's right. So Cake and Bake, the Cake and Bake show, travel around the country, and I'm the host of the shows. So I've been doing that for 3 years. And the Ideal Home show, I do that as well. That's the turkey tasting theatre I'm doing this year, which is a little bit different because I'm more about cake, but I love Christmas. I love turkey. So yeah, I enjoy doing those shows. They're hard work, those shows, but again, all the people in my industry do it, and
it's bread and butter, isn't it?
It is, and they come at the right time of year. They come at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So, I mean, I'm really grateful for the shows. I really am, and it's usually the people you meet there that make it really good fun. But so yeah, I definitely will carry on doing the shows for as long as they keep asking me. That's for sure. Good for the profile as well. Again,
adds another string to your bow.
Exactly, and it's important, isn't it? You've got to keep the balls in the air, as they say.
What about? I looked on your website and I noticed that you've got a book coming out. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, this book, I've been writing this book for so long. I mean, I have got enough recipes now for a book, but I'm not happy with them. So what I'm going to do, what I've planned to do, is take a couple of months off, hire a little seaside cottage or something, and go and do it. Just like bash it out and get it done. That's what I'd like to do anyway. Whether that actually happens, but that's the plan, to kind of just get away, dedicate those 2 months to it, just to go over and collate everything, and then finally finish it, because work gets in the way. Excuses. But yeah, it happened.
Facebook, Instagram, all those things get in the way. Well, Lisa, it's been absolutely like having you on the show. How can people find out more about you?
Firstly, thank you so much for asking me. It's been lovely to chat to you as always. Through Twitter at the Cocoa Box, Instagram at the Cocoa Box, and my website, the Cocoa Box. It'd be lovely to hear from anyone if they have any questions.
And subscribe to your channel, because you need to build up your subscribers.
I do, of course, definitely. We're on YouTube and it's the Cocoa Box.
Fabulous. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more from you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.